Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, walk over to your fish tank with a cup of coffee, and something feels off. The water looks cloudy, fish are gasping, maybe even floating. All because your heater failed overnight. Scary, right? And sadly, it's not rare. Heaters are the silent heroes of our tanks until they become the villains. Today, I'm breaking down 7 ways aquarium heaters fail and how you can prevent a total disaster. Stick with me because number 1 is the nightmare scenario that has wiped out entire tanks. And hey, if you want honest, myth-free fish keeping advice, hit subscribe. We keep it real here. Number 7, the cheap heater gamble. Let's start with the rookie mistake, buying the cheapest heater on Amazon. I get it, I've done it too. $20, free shipping, and you think, how bad can it be? Well, that bargain heater often fails in months, sometimes weeks. And here's the kicker. Studies show that cheaper heaters often lack thermal cutoffs or protective fuses. That means if it malfunctions, it doesn't shut down. It just keeps cooking. I once lost a whole batch of guppies because a bargain heater stuck on overnight, woke up to a fish sauna, not fun. So lesson learned, don't gamble with your fish's lives to save a few bucks. Number 6, stuck off equals silent killer. The opposite happens too. Heater fails off and just stops working. You don't notice right away because the tank still looks fine until the temp drops 10 degrees overnight. Fish don't handle sudden swings well. A 5 to 10 degree drop can cause stress, eke outbreaks, even mass die-offs. One paper I read in aquaculture research actually showed that temperature shock suppresses immune response within hours. That's why your fish suddenly gets sick after a heater failure. I had this happen one winter, walked in and my angelfish were shivering in the corner. If I hadn't caught it in time, they'd be goners. Number 5, bad placement. Okay, here's one people overlook. Where you put the heater matters. Stick it in a dead zone with no water movement, and guess what? Half your tank might be 80 degrees Fahrenheit, while the other half is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Fish move through these microclimates like they're traveling between the Sahara and Alaska. That stress builds up, and you don't even realize it. Rule of thumb, always put heaters near filter outflow or in an area with circulation. Otherwise, you might as well be running 2 climates in one tank. Number 4, no backup, no plan. This one stings because it's so preventable. Relying on a single heater is like driving without a spare tire. If it fails, you're done. A lot of pros actually run 2 smaller heaters instead of one big one. That way, if one fails, the other can keep the tank stable until you notice. It saved me once. One heater died, but the other kept the tank at 73 degrees Fahrenheit. The fish were fine. I know hobbyists who lost entire collections of rare fish because they had no backup. And trust me, rebuying rare cichlids or bettas costs way more than a second heater. Number 3, no thermometer equals flying blind. This is the facepalm one. If you don't have a thermometer, you're basically guessing. Heater dials are lies. They say, set at 75 degrees Fahrenheit, but in reality, could be 68, could be 82. I once checked a tank that felt fine. The thermometer said 85 degrees Fahrenheit. No wonder my Corydoras were gasping. A $5 digital thermometer can literally save your fish. And if you're really serious, get an alarm thermometer. Some beep if temps swing too far. On forums like Aquarium, I've seen countless posts, "Help, all my fish died overnight." And 90% of the time, the person didn't even own a thermometer. Number 2, power outages, and forgotten risks. Here's a sneaky one. Your heater didn't fail, but the power did. Storms, winter freezes, even a blown fuse can leave your tank without heat for hours. I live in an area that gets winter blackouts, and let me tell you, nothing feels worse than watching your tank temp drop and realizing you're helpless. Solutions? Wrap the tank in blankets to slow the cooling. Battery-powered air pumps for oxygen, and if you're serious, some hobbyists invest in a UPS or generator. Overkill? Maybe, until you lose a tank full of fish you've raised for years. Number 1, the shock drop. And now, the big one, temperature shock. It's not just about the heater breaking, it's about what happens after. When temps swing 10 to 15 degrees in a few hours, fish go into shock. They stop eating, immune systems crash, diseases spread, and sometimes they just die overnight. That's why heater failures feel so brutal. It's not the hardware breaking, it's the sudden swing that kills. Think of it like you jumping into an ice bath after sitting in a sauna. Your body freaks out. Fish don't have the luxury of recovery. And here's the thing most people forget. Heaters aren't really about heating your tank. They're about keeping it stable. Fish don't care if it's 72 degrees Fahrenheit or 76 degrees Fahrenheit as long as it's steady. What they can't handle are those wild swings up and down. Stability is the real goal. That's why a good heater isn't just raising the temperature. It's holding the line, keeping your tank safe from those dangerous roller coaster drops and spikes. Bonus: how to protect your tank. Alright, enough doom and gloom. Let's talk solutions. Use 2 smaller heaters instead of 1 big one. Always run a thermometer, ideally with an alarm. Invest in a heater controller like Inkbird. It cuts power if temps spike. Keep a spare heater handy. If you live in blackout country, consider a backup plan like blankets, battery pumps, even a generator. I've done all of these after my own failures, and it's saved my tanks more than once. So, have you ever had a heater disaster? Did you wake up to a tank nightmare or catch it just in time? Share your story in the comments. I guarantee others can relate. And if this video saved your fish from an emergency, hit like, hit subscribe, and check out my last video about cold water fish that thrive without heaters. Because sometimes the best solution is choosing fish that don't need one at all. Stay safe, fish keepers, and don't let your tank become a sauna or an ice bath overnight.